This conference will now be recorded.
Hello.
Okay, we can't see.
Oh, is it?
Your screen.
Stop it and let me share it again. Are you able to see now?
Yes.
Okay. In this today's session, let's see what all we can do in transform message. So until now, I think you are familiar with the transformations, like from one format of file to another format of file, like how to transform from XML format of data to JSON format, JSON to CSV. Let's see a recap, like how we can do and all. And let's say I will do sample transform message, sample transform. So if I simply drag and drop a transform message here, I can see, right? So whenever we are doing, so in the earlier examples, we have seen like we are getting data from database and we have converted it to JSON structure. So generally, if you recollect it, what all we have done is we have set the inbound data and outbound data. So here when we see when in the transform message, whenever you see like two sides, input and output, we can also call it as inbound data and outbound data. Suppose if I want to transform from JSON to XML or JSON to CSV or any kind of data, simply I need to define metadata. So I think here you are familiar with this one, right? We have done it multiple times. So I'll just go ahead and create JSON, and I should give example or schema. So in let's say in your real-time projects or in your real-time projects which you are doing, suppose they are not providing you example but they are providing you schema. Let's say this is the example which we are considering for all our testing and all of our learning purpose. But in real-time examples, they might give you schema. So how to do that? Generally in online you can go for JSON schema or JSON example to schema. So there will be some online tools where you can convert examples to schema and vice versa. So if I give here, I will give my JSON data here. So this is my example and I'm giving schema here instead of example. So let me generate schema. So if you see here, for that particular example, the schema is generated. So if at all the client gives you this type of schema and they did not give you example, you can go ahead and create data. You can create a schema file and you can select it in while creating metadata. And if let's say if you are comfortable only with example, then simply you can do vice versa also. Then what you can do, here you have JSON to JSON schema to JSON. So if I copy my this one, let me copy this one, copy, and let's say client is giving you only schema. Now you want to generate examples with it. Then you can go ahead and create JSON schema to JSON and add your JSON schema here. Generate JSON. So it is giving its own examples, something like this. Okay, this is the one of the way which we can do. So I'm just explaining you what are all the ways we can do and how many ways you have. So let's say I have one already example file. So let's say I'm having EMP ID, EMP name, EMP status as this one. So this is my inbound data. Let's say I want to generate outbound data. Outbound data I want in let's say XML format. With the same type I want to have XML data. Let's see, similarly what we can keep is EMP ID, or simply I can do one thing instead of this one. And one more thing here to notice, whenever we see defaultly there will be Java. So if at all, so why it is coming as Java by default? Because Mule, as we all know, Mule is our Java based tool. Okay, so generally anything it is doing, it will be doing in the Java format. If at all we will convert it into JSON format or XML format, it will do some conversion of data. So unless and until it is required, like if at all you require the changing of data, unless and until that one, don't change it to JSON structure or XML structure. Keep it in the Java format and only you can run it. So if I keep it in here and I will just say payload, okay, and if I click on preview here, let me save it. Create sample data. Yeah. See here, automatically it is giving me. So if I, from here, if you click on preview, generally, whenever you are giving some example with sample data, in the preview section, it will be showing you what it will happen after the transformation. So if I'm seeing, I'm converting this into Java structure. So it is giving array in the first object, it is giving, and in here also you can see this is number, string, data types and all it is giving. All the examples. If I say, if I am just transforming it into JSON structure again, see it is coming, it is automatically changing. So this preview section is very useful if you have the sample test data example, like whenever you are loading sample example, right? If you have example data, it will be very useful in the preview section. But if you, let's say we are not creating any example, but you are simply defining that like you are getting some data from connector, metadata is automatically loading. At that point, preview will not come. Whenever the sample data is there, it will come. And let's say I want to change this as XML. It won't come here because you all know XML tag requires, sorry, XML structure requires root element. So here, whenever we are doing it in the JSON structure, root element is optional. But for XML, root element is mandatory. So I will just keep employee data. Let me save it. Review. Let's see, 2 issues found. Trying to output. Let me open it in the load screen. Okay. It is not coming. Let me remove this and I will do JSON. It is coming in this way, but sorry. It is not coming. So in that case, what you can do is you can load XML or you can write your own XML. Like in the employee, you will be having, suppose in XML. So whenever I'm giving employee and opening bracket, it is coming here. Let's say I want to give emp underscore id equal to payload dot. See here, everything has automatically coming. Payload dot emp underscore id. So it is coming all the, so whatever the structure you want to do, you want to give, you can give here. Suppose if I don't want to give emp id, but I want to give name here. Name is payload dot emp name in this way. So if I give here, instead of XML, if I give here, let's say I will give CSV. CSV structure, it won't come because for CSV structure, we don't require root tag. Let me save it. And let me give one structure here instead of this one. Let me give CSV format. CSV type I will give. CSV type. And I will give CSV. So you all know what we can do here. We can give example definition. So here, if I click on this one, and I can give my names like ID, name, status, and I want to give this one as number. So include CSV header. So select. Let me map it. Array to array, override, and I will map it. ID, name, status. So it is giving how the CSV structure looks after this transform message. Okay, any questions so far?
No, Kirti.
No, okay. And here, if you search for data types in Mule, data types in, sorry, Mule 4, define simple data types that are supported. You can see what are the data types present here. So these are all the data types which we can use. Suppose let's take a use case where you are getting some JSON structure. Okay, you are getting some JSON structure, and let me remove this. I will give payload, and I will give Java here. So now you can see EMP ID number, string, string. But you are getting some data from source in this way. But in target, you want to send this as, like, you want to send this number as string or this string as number. How we can do that? So what you can do is, first simply let's just map it here. Map ID. Okay, I have since I mapped here. This is coming. Okay, so here I can see, right? I'm getting ID as number, name as string, and status as A. If at all I want to give this number as string, what I can do is I can give one operator called as string. See here, now it is appearing as string. Suppose, let's say you are getting some string element and you want to do it as number. Then simply you can give as number. See? So in this way, you can convert the data type also. Like if at all that this is called type conversion, means we are converting the data type of particular elements to this target data types. And suppose what we have here, what is the coding standard is, whenever you are doing some type conversion, let's say here you are doing some type conversion and I'm giving of all as string. So whenever we do type conversion, so if at all this payload is empty here, whenever the payload name or EMP name is empty, it will throw you an error saying that we cannot convert this one to null, because if at all null is coming, how it can convert from null to string? It cannot do, right? So in that case, what we have to do is we have to keep default. We have to default it. Default to, let's say, empty. This means whenever it is getting null value, it will take this empty value. And for number type, you can give default it to 0 or anything you wish. Default 0. In a similar way, you can do as string default like this. Okay, these are all the things which you can perform in transform message. And you also know how to convert any type of, so here we have seen XML to JSON, JSON to XML, or XML to CSV file. And you also know how to do for Excel, XLSX format. So if at all I want to give, let's say I will give Excel data type. Excel type. So here you will have option, Excel sheet. And you can give what are all the columns you want. Name or ID, name, and string. You can do this one, and you can simply map it, array to array. Or let me remove this entire mapping first.
You didn't change the ID to the number status.
Yeah, we can coerce it. We can coerce it, right? So now we can see this one, ID to ID, name, this one, right? So see, it is coming as string by default. How it is understanding? From source it is getting number, and in target I have given string. When I map it, automatically it came as string. See, now I will do once again. Let me show you. Whenever I'm mapping it, so array to array I'm mapping it. EMP ID to ID, whenever I'm doing mapping, it is coming as string automatically because it understands the target metadata. So if at all you don't have example metadata, you have to create by on your own, right? So you have to write it on your own. So at that time you can based on your understanding which one target is requiring. Is it required string format or number format? So based on that you have to do type conversion.
Okay, Kirti.
Okay. And let's see. So here in this way you can format Excel, and here also you can see in the Excel format it is coming how in sheet 1 you're having all these elements. Okay, and we have many operators also. Let's see, let me give this one JSON. Here we have many operators also, like arithmetic operators, like we have when we do plus plus. So here we have seen on the last classes, I think we have seen how to accumulate data using plus plus, like we are adding the what do you say, arrays. So we have added some elements of array element to the empty array. So if you remember, we have taken one empty array, and for that we have done plus plus, and we have accumulated in the for each block. So this plus plus is used for string concatenation and also array concatenation. Generally in arithmetic operators we have plus, we have minus. So let's see this one. So generally that is very simple. So let's say I am having id, this is string, right? Okay, let me remove this string empid, and let me do minus 200. See, in the example only it is giving. So if I do plus 200, it is giving example data. How it is getting example data? Because in the example which I have given in this request, see on the right side I have given this data, sample data. For this sample data, it is performing all the operations which I am giving. So here I have 1001. So 1001, if I am adding 200, it is giving 1201. If I am doing minus, it is giving this one. Okay, and in a similar way, if you have any logical operators, so those are very simple. You can practice on your own. So we all know, like we can do equal to, we can do less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than. So we can do all these operations also. So whenever we do these operations, it will come as Boolean format. So let's see this one. I will do empid less than 200. So it is giving false, because in the example we have given what we have 1001. Is 1001 less than 200? It is giving false. If I give greater than, it will be true. See, it is becoming true. So for all the logical operators, it will give you Boolean value. Okay. And here let's see one of the important topic. So that is for the concatenation. Before concatenation, let me show you one of the important topic. Like here we have seen creation of variables in general mule flow. Like here we do set variable, or this is one of the way of creating variables. But we have also seen in transform message, like here if we click on plus, and if we click on the target and we click on variable, here also we can set the variable var1, something like this. So these two variables are generally used across entire flow. But if you want to have some variable which has to be used only in the transform message, here also you can create your variable. So how that is after application JSON and before these three dots, right? You can come here and you can say where emp data. So here equals to, let me give some string value. I will give emp name is mule, I will give. So this one we can have this variable. This variable emp name is used, and it can be used only in this transform message. It won't be used in the other steps. In the other flow, we cannot use. We can use this one only in the transform message. But why to use this one? But why? What is the main purpose of this one? Is, let's say you are having some data which you need to use across all this mapping. Suppose you are having 20 fields, and for all the 20 fields you want to use some of the data, some of the common data. So instead of giving it every time, what you can do is you can declare it in the variable and you can use it. So if at all I want to convert this variable to this my variable emp name, what I will do is plus plus, I will give emp name. That's all. Let me see in the preview. It will come. See, test1 mule, test2 mule, for everything it is appending. If I want to give space, I will give space and I will give one more plus plus. It means emp name plus, concatenating with space and then with the my variable. Okay, here in this way we can create, we can concatenate using variables. Suppose if I have my variable, let's say I have where I have my something called as object. Let's say I have my object. I will give emp object equals to emp object equals to, I will have id equals to 100, name equals to first name, and I will have status equals to some status one. Okay, and here let me remove this one and let me show you. So I have this emp object. What I want to do is I want to add this emp object to my payload. So let me give here payload, what it will come, let's see, payload. So this is my payload, right? So what is in my payload? My payload contains an array of objects. What I want to do is to this array of objects, I want to add my object. All I can do is simply plus plus emp object. Let me see here. See, because we are adding an array element, an object to an array element, we are using plus here. And suppose for this, if you see here, I'm having id, name and status. To this object, if I want to add one more just element, for that what I can do is I can simply, I will just let me just assign it to something like result or something. Okay, and then I will do I will say result one. Instead of payload, what I will give is emp object. I will give to this emp object, I will say plus, I will add something called as salary. Salary equals to 2000 or something like this. Let me see what is happening. I will give result. Okay. I have to give this. So if you see here, we can see to this object, what I have done, I have added one more element. Okay, in this way, we can add elements to the existing object, and also we can add this existing object to an entire array. Suppose let's say I want to give something called as let me create one array here, where array 1 I will give array 1 equals to, I will give these fields 200, and in my where array 2 I want to give this one, and I will take, yeah. So if I want to concatenate these two, simply I can say, I'm just showing you for the execution purpose. This is just for understanding purpose. In real time, whatever you want, like how the structure you want, you can add it. If I want to array 1 dot, if I click on dot, I can read these elements also. So if I want to do some, let's say id plus plus, and I will say array 2 dot id, and in the result 2 I can see 200. But if I want to do arithmetic operation, so here if you see, this is a string operation, 200, it is concatenating. Let me give 100 here for understanding. 100, 200. If I want to do arithmetic operation, I can simply give plus. See, result equals to 300. Okay. In this way, we can perform the operations. And if you want to, if you want to do a minus, like suppose here we have seen plus operations for adding objects into elements into objects and also objects into arrays. If you want to remove, you can do minus also. So let me show you that. So here, let me see here in this EMP object, what do I have in EMP object? I have an EMP object, this one. And from this one, I want to remove status. I can do simply EMP object minus, and I will give status equals to what do I have in status in EMP object? Status equals to status 1, right? I will do this one. So if I see in my result one, that status is removed. If I want to do a plus, if I want to concatenate again, I can simply do plus. Then what do I have? I have my status. Since in general EMP object already has status, it is again this means we are again adding the status. That is why it is showing 2 times. If you simply keep EMP object, what do we have? In here we have ID, name and status. If I do a minus, let me show you. If I do a minus, what we'll have? That status will be removed. See, only ID and name are there. Okay, these are all the operations which you can perform. So if you just go on Google, like what are the arithmetic operators, so you can select like arithmetic operators and logical operators, and you can see plus and minus. So these are the things we discussed today. Okay, any questions so far?
Kirti, instead of var, can't we use varchar syntax?
Varchar means, what do you mean, Devanand?
Like var means a variable, right?
Okay,
Instead
you are
of,
saying like in database we have varchar, that one?
yeah.
No. So varchar is in database. Varchar means it is a data type. But here, what is variable means this is used for declaration. It means this is a variable type of thing that we are declaring. This is syntax which we use for variable.
Yeah. Instead of that, can't we use varchar?
No, we cannot use. See here, whenever we are doing any variables, right? So let's say if I want to give emp values, something I have where something like this. How we are retrieving this value? We are retrieving this value generally in how we will keep a logger and we can see, right? We will do vars dot, right? We will do vars dot, and you can see whatever the value here. So why we can't use varchar here? Can we use varchar here? No, because this is inbuilt syntax we use for retrieving variables. In the similar way, in transfer message, we use var for declaring variables.
Okay,
so here, no need of giving any data types or what. It can understand by default. And if you want to change any data type, as you know, we have seen as. So you can simply do as, and you can do. So let's say, suppose if I have something called as here instead of status in the EMP object, let me have like false. Okay, here it is coming in the string format. If at all you want this instead of string format, you want this as Boolean format, what you can do? Simply go and say, like if you want to see, let me open it in the big format. Yeah, what I can do is, I'm just for showing purpose, I'm doing all this. I'm giving EMP object. Okay. If I simply do EMP object dot, it will give status. Let's see the preview how it is coming. Result is equal to, it is coming in the string format. If you want this in Boolean format, simply do as and Boolean. Oh, sorry. Now see, it is coming in the Boolean format. How we know it is coming in Boolean format? It does not have double quotes. If I remove this Boolean, it will come in double quotes. See? And if you want to check correctly in the proper way, as the data type, you can keep it in Java format. So here you can see in the result, it is Boolean. If I remove Boolean, it will be as string. See, result 3 is string.
Yeah, Kirti, understood.
Any other questions? Because this will come, all these operators, all these functions which we are doing, right? This will come handy when you are doing in your real-time projects. Okay, and let's see, suppose if you want any date here, we have something called as date type also. Let me give you date field colon. If you want to have the current date time, like what is the current date time, system current date time, you can simply do now. See, it is giving the date time. And what is this plus 530? It is mentioning as zone. What is the time zone which we are present in? So it is giving GMT 530. 12:09. What is the time? If you want to change the format, let's say you don't want, suppose let's say from source you are getting this type of format, and you want to change the format, like database will not, let's say you are sending data to database, and database will not accept this date time format. And at that time, what you can do, you can click on as, you have something called as date, and you can give format. What is the format you want to give? Format colon, you can give your format. Let's say I want to give in YYY dash mm dash dd. See here, it is coming in this format. Okay, and if you want, like suppose after this one, you want to, if I give m here, 3 m's here, I think it will give. Okay, let me see. What is this error it is showing? Input expected. Let me save this. Why is not correctly formed? What is this? Okay, you can ignore this one because we see here the format. What is the format we required? It is coming here. Let me just remove this one and see value, and I will give date time. Now okay, let me make it to JSON structure to understand clearly. Now, and I will give as date coming. It is coming in the format. So in a similar way, if at all you have other formats of date, let's say I will give date format colon, and I will give YYY slash slash dd. For this one, I think we require the latest, this one, latest DataWeave. So if you can simply see here, You can search in Mule documentation. We have multiple things about this one. So if you see date format in Mule 4, it will give you all the examples. Parse data. So date, you have date. So these are all the advanced things. If you want to have now, so just verify in whatever you see, whatever the operators are. These are all the operators present in on the website. You can see these are all the operators present in Mule 4. So you can start working on it, because mostly all of this will not use. We'll be mostly using like now, and we know map. So how to map, we know, like whenever there is an array coming, we know how to map it. And these are all the boolean values which you give. These are all the checks, is blank, is decimal, is empty. So it will perform all the checks here. So if at all I say I have a variable like say where element I will give, and I will give, that's all. And if I want to check like this empty check equals to, and I want to give this element dot is empty. Here is empty. So this for the syntax and all, you can check it. So here it is impossible to remember all the syntaxes. So you can simply check what is the syntax and how to do it. Like it is saying it is empty. Instead of giving it here, I will say empty of this one. It is giving true because it is empty. And if I give null, I think we should give it in small. It is giving true. Means is empty will check if at all this is null, or even if the blank, if we give blank, it will check if it is empty or not. If I give some value, like let me give some value, in that case it will give false. So in a similar way, we have multiple checks. Is it even, is integer, is leap year, is odd. So we have, so all these mostly based on the requirements only we will be doing. And flatten, I will explain you how what is flatten and all. So plus plus minus minus we will be using. And yeah, so you can check on your own. So what are all the things we can perform. So all these things are very usable, and when it basically it is based on requirement. And split by also we use mostly. What is split by is whenever you are having some string and you want to split it using something, like you want to use it using comma or something. So for that it is giving you here, see they are giving some examples also. So let's say I want to give, so here if they are giving some examples, split one, and they are using split by. Suppose let's take this one example. Why they are giving all this one is these are for the escape sequence. Like here they want to escape this dash values, and they want to escape b, that's why they are giving this one. But in generally we won't use that one. So if I take a var, and I will say example, I will give a comma b comma c imports. Okay, and here I will give result 4 equals to, I have split by here, so I will give ex split by, and I will give comma. So here in the result 4 I can see whenever we are doing split by using comma, what are all the, so what it will do is it is splitting. So in this string it will split using comma, and it will give us a array structure a b c. If I give here instead of c, I will give here like this. If let's take a real-time example. Suppose you are having a string with names, like I will have name 1, name 2, name 3. You are getting this kind of string from your source, but your target receives this one as a string. Sorry, another array. How do you want to do? You can simply split using comma. Ex split by comma. Then it will give you in an array structure. And then again, so let's say you're having two sources. Let's see, you're having two sources. Source 1 is giving you leave this one, name 1 comma name 2 comma name 3, and there is source 2, which is giving you only name 4, and the target, it requires an array format where all these 3 and this 4 should be in an array format. So what we can do, simply you can go ahead and here do plus plus and give this source to, let's say I have here where ex2, this comes from source to, let's assume, and I will have here name 4. So what I can give, ex2, let me do plus, let me save it, result equals to split by this one, and let me give, okay, so instead of this one I will give ex2 in this way. Or you can do in this one you are having some array, right? So you can give less of ex2. So now we'll have 4 elements. Since this will be an array, you have to add in an array format only. That is why it is taking square brackets. If at all this is an object, you'll have to give in the flower brackets. For for objects we use flower brackets, and for arrays we use square brackets. This you must have known until now. Whenever we are doing with JSON structures and all, you understood. So if I see here, I am getting three elements in an array format from my source 1, and then this is my source 1. Let's say x is my source 1, and from my x2, I am getting my 4th element, and these 4 elements I am sending it in an array format. Okay, so there are many number of operators present in transform message. So in tomorrow's class we will see what are the mostly useful operators and how we can use them. So we have seen size of maybe in the first class, or I mean I think in mock services. So we have seen that size of payload and we were checking with it. So whenever the data is coming from database, we are checking from the size of payload, and we were doing the choice operators. So we have many things here. So mostly the most important things are here, size of and all. So in tomorrow's class, let's see in clear way like what are all the mostly used operators and how you can use them. Okay, any questions so far?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then in tomorrow's class we will see all the DataWeave other operators, and we'll once again see what is map, because map also I think we have seen it already, but let me explain you again tomorrow what is map and all. Okay, and just one reminder. Okay, I don't think tomorrow I can have the class because I have one meeting tomorrow. Let's take on Wednesday instead of tomorrow. Let's take on Wednesday, and we can take on Saturday as well. I mean Saturday as well. We can continue. We have planned for Friday, right? For the last session. Instead of that, we can postpone it to 20. Okay, tomorrow there will be no class. We'll see on Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, Kirti, could you send that link which was in the MuleSoft website?
Yeah, this is MuleSoft
Yeah.
original documentation. You can check here whatever they are providing. You can it is very cleanly mentioned from MuleSoft only. So mostly all these you don't need to remember actually. No need of remembering, but it is better if you have some, like if you know what are the operators. Generally, no developer will be remembering all these operators and what are how it works. If at all we want some any operations to perform, we should check and we should come here and check in this website whether any function is available for our requirement like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay then. Thank you everyone. We'll meet on Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.